G'day, Eric Bakker, naturopath, author of Candida Crusher. I often get asked by different women many questions regarding vaginal yeast infections. One or two key symptoms which many people talk about, which is quite embarrassing for them, is the vaginal odor and the terrible vaginal itch. Many women seem to get this, and some women who've had Skype consultations with me tend to be very embarrassed about this. That's why I'm speaking a bit softer. They get very embarrassed. And some women actually think that this condition is caused because they're unclean. They think, and other women think it's because they've got poor social standing, or there are all these reasons why they think they've got this terrible itch and this terrible odor. But any woman can get potentially this condition. And while many women will get this, maybe once or twice in their lifetime, some women experience this all the time, and it drives them literally crazy, and they want to know how to get on top of this problem. In my book, Candida Crusher, I've got a nice little chart here which I've made for you. I'll just show you here. You may be able to see this chart. This chart is in section 5 on chronic vaginal infections. Signs and symptoms of vaginal infections and inflammations. So I'm just going to run over a couple of things with you now to show you which of these vaginal conditions can give you a tremendous itch and be quite a strong odor. So we know that the Candida yeast infections can have a yeasty or musty odor and can have an incredible itch about them, an itch that can drive you literally crazy. Herpes is another condition which can affect the female vaginal area. It can cause tremendous itching. But there's no odor associated with a herpes infection. Trichomonas is a parasite, or we call it trick. This can also have an itch, but not quite as severe as the Candida. This can have a very foul or strong smelling discharge. The discharge with Trichomonas, though, tends to be more frothy or green. It's not really white or creamy like the vaginal yeast infection. Gardnerella is another particular type of bacterial infection, or what we call BV. Gardnerella, you're not generally going to have an itch with it, and the smell can be a bit fishy or briny in this condition, and some women actually get bacterial vaginosis mixed up with the yeast infection, although the yeast is not really bacteria, so it's a different kind of an infection. Itchy or irritable vulva can also be caused by a sexual transmitted disease called gonorrhea, although it's much less common. But the point I'm making here is it's important for you to get diagnosed and checked out to see if you've got a vaginal yeast infection or a bacterial infection called a bacterial vaginosis. I offer many solutions for BV and for Candida yeast infection in my book Candida Crusher. So chapter 5, it explains all about that. And it's good for you to get on top of this odor and itch because it can drive people crazy. I've had incredible phone calls from women crying and Skype consultations. One woman recently whose relationship fell apart because of the terrible odor and the itch. And I've had many other women ranging from 18 right up to 60s, hundreds of them over the years, very upset and distraught with recurring infections, getting nowhere with medical treatment. And for those women, I've written this chapter. So if you're serious about getting rid of the vaginal infection, get a copy of the book. You're sure to get a good result. So there's no need to put up with this embarrassing smell, this terrible itch, and a condition that could literally wreck your life and your relationship. So get on to your chronic infection now, because there's plenty you can do about it. Thank you.